We are here today to check out some more cricket.
But should we just call it like Cricket Tuesday or something like that?
Cricket Tuesday.
Cricket Tuesday.
Cricket Tuesday.
It was repeating itself. Didn't we just see that?
It's so true, though.
Okay, well, first of all,
true.
Mitch Johnson, Brett Lee, MS Dhoni, with all that boring stuff out of the way, this is a very important, momentous occasion. All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here.
Gabe, the Night Watchman.
I almost said the title of the video. Welcome to Controversial Commentary. No, we are here for another episode of
Cricket Tuesday.
So good. And like I mentioned a few seconds ago, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. We are looking at controversial moments as far as commentary goes in cricket. And this is one, right when I asked you want to do, oh yeah. This is one that got me interested because I wouldn't call us commentators, but we do live streams with live cricket.
Right.
We have our thoughts. I guess you can call it commentary to the lowest degree possible.
The lowest, absolute bare minimum.
But it's not easy because you want to try to fill in the entire 3 to 4 to 8 hours, depending on how long the match is. And we always get off the rails. We're talking about this or that, and that's going to happen. These guys are in the booth. They have to stay on topic. They have to have all their stuff ready to go. And all it takes is that one slip up, right? Like Shane Warne, right? He's got himself in trouble here or there, small time trouble, where he was like making fun of loose bus change, right? With his like mannerisms, all the things he's doing.
Dude,
quick comment, and people they lost their minds over it.
I don't understand that. Harsha Bodley, the reason he's on Quick Buzz and not on, I think it's
Hotstar, right?
Hotstar was because he had some controversial comments, and not necessarily controversial. He didn't support the Indian team as much, and he criticized them or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, look, you got to be able to criticize your own team. I'm not saying I don't love them. Listen, I'm a Giants fan. I'm a Yankees fan. Oh, for the love of Pete, I'm a Knicks fan. Ugh. You know what? But just because I'm a fan doesn't say I'm going to say they're the best team ever. They should win everything. No. I'm going to point out that they're bad at this and bad at that. And then the Knicks they just went to the playoffs for the first time in 2 decades. And all they gave me was one win. Stupid Knicks. But it is what it is. You got to be able to be honest. And you got to be able to criticize. I think the best American commentator ever is Bob Uecker. Now he's so good.
Hilarious.
They put him in a movie called Major League. Actually, he was in 2 of them. Yeah. And as the announcer,
he ad-libbed.
And he ad-libbed all his lines. But Bob Uecker is a baseball announcer. He used to be a baseball player, became a baseball announcer. He does color commentary, and he is a legend in the booth. Yes. But he will mock the team. He'll mock his own team. He's like, listen, I got to keep it entertaining. And the fans aren't blind. They can see what I'm seeing out there. So if a guy boots a ball, I'm going to say he boots a ball. The umpire made a bad call. I'm going to say the umpire made a bad call, which you're not supposed to criticize umpires. That's another thing. Like, it drives me crazy that you're not allowed to be honest, all right? So as soon as Nick said controversial commentary, I'm like, please.
It was all about it.
I hope there's at least one of a couple of the commentators going in on these umpires. Like, how could you make that call? Like, I would probably say, listen, did you have money on this game? Did somebody just pay off your mortgage? Something happened that you made that call because you couldn't legitimately believe that was LBW or vice versa.
I wouldn't be able to do the job on TV because I'm passionate about whatever team I'm rooting for, and I'll go after the players. Not in a fashion where I think I can do better, but you're the player that was chosen for that spot. You went down for a duck or you got 1 off 30 or something like that. I'm going to say something. So I'm curious if they go out to the players, the umpires, the field of play, whatever it is. We're going to check this out.
I guarantee you at least one is going to be going after the umpires because I've heard in the cricketing world, similar to here, where like umpires are untouchable. And you cannot, question the call. You can't say anything. Just like here, there's fines and stuff like that. Like, even commentators will get in trouble. What I don't expect to see, because cricket is such a gentleman's game, is some of the stuff we've had lately where commentators get caught on hot mic saying stuff they shouldn't be saying, right. Whether it's derogatory things about, female athletes or racial things and stuff like that. Like, there should be no place for that in the sport. So that's not what I'm looking forward to. But I am looking forward to a guy, bashing his own team, bashing the coaches, and bashing the umpires.
Extra honest.
Why not?
100% honest. Let us know what you think in the comment section when we're done with this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and check this out. Let's see how controversial it gets.
You think we'll see Harsha Bogli in here?
Hopefully we'll see Ecclestone in here. Harsha Bogli, maybe.
For almost a century now, cricket is always
Harsha Bogli.
played with commentators. Because initially, commentary was the only way for a person to experience the match by listening to it on the radio. But even after live television came about, commentators are an integral part of the proceedings. But it is difficult to talk for so long and not blurt out something controversial, right? Today at Simri Chuma, we are taking a look at 10 instances when cricket commentary got controversial. Let's get started. Shoaib Akhtar. This is a post-match analysis show and not the commentary. But still, after India beat Pakistan once again in a World Cup game, show host Jatin Sapru couldn't suppress his laughter when he heard the Mauka Mauka theme music, which they played. This made Shoaib Akhtar furious, who asked Sapru why he was laughing and said that he shouldn't be laughing at a team like that.
Sorry. पता है अब शुरू में किया क्या ऐसे क्यों आप?
नहीं वो मौका चल रहा था मैं कह रहा था कि
मौका कोच रीजन पूछने बैठे या मजाक उड़ाने बैठे?
नहीं मौका वो म्यूजिक कर रहा है
सीरियसली पूछना चाहिए I mean like आपको
नहीं वो कपिल पाजी वहाँ पे शुरुआत कर रहे थे उसी चीज की लेकिन क्या
वो ठीक है आप मजाक नहीं उड़ा सकते
नहीं मजाक नहीं कोशिश करी
मजाक उड़ा सकते आप
Yeah, he seems pretty composed.
Andrew Strauss isn't fond of Kevin Peterson. While talking to a colleague during an ad break, while he was commenting, he described Peterson as a complete beep. Yes, he actually used the C word. He thought he was off air, but that wasn't the case.
That happens.
Strauss apologized to Peterson later.
The hot mic will get you.
Ramiz Raja. Bangladesh fans were really upset with Ramiz for his commentary during a Bangladesh versus Afghanistan game, as they felt Ramiz was openly favoring the Afghans and mocking the Bangladesh players. A commentator should not be biased. That is a well-known fact. The fans even ran an online campaign demanding Ramiz's ouster from the commentary team.
Wow.
Nasir Hussain. In 2011, during a T20 international match between India and England, Parthiv Patel dropped a catch. Nasir Hussain on live television said, India have 3 or 4 good fielders and 1 or 2 donkeys still in the field. It drew sharp reactions in India, although Hussain felt that people should have taken it in good humor. We at Simri Chuma accept that it was told in a humorous way, and we shouldn't take it seriously. But if anyone said this to the English players, especially himself, how would he have reacted? Just curious.
Wow.
Kerry O'Keefe on Indian domestic circuit. This is a very recent story where a former Australian off-spinner, Kerry O'Keefe, took a dig at the standard of first-class cricket in India by saying that Mayank Agarwal must have scored his 100 against a team of canteen staff. While Kerry's fellow Australian commentators sitting in the box shared a good laugh, the Indian fans did not enjoy it one bit, and Kerry had to cope with a lot of criticism on Twitter. Dean Jones, 2006. Perhaps the most famous of these incidents. Dean Jones made a comment when Hashim Amla caught Kumar Sangakkara of Sean Pollock. Unfortunately for Jones, though there was an advertisement in Sri Lankan telecast, the South African got to hear Jones's words. The terrorist gets another wicket, is what he said.
Wow.
This was a clear reference to Amla's beard. Jones was sacked by 10 Sports with immediate effect.
That's
sorry, mate. I didn't mean for it to come out on air, was Jones' somewhat feeble apology to Amla.
It's hard.
The Sanjay Manjrekar and Pollard wrote. Sanjay Manjrekar is so straightforward that sometimes his words offend the players a bit too much. However, this was an instance of a player completely misunderstanding Manjrekar rather than him having said something wrong. The West Indies all-rounder Kieron Pollard thought that Manjrekar said he did not have enough brains to bat up the order. Pollard just came out and slammed Manjrekar on social media, but Manjrekar actually never said something like that on air.
Yeah.
While he was criticized again, Manjrekar later clarified everything with Pollard.
Yeah, I wonder why
Sanjay
he thought he
Manjrekar
said
and
that.
Jadeja. This is the most infamous incident of them all because it came up during the 2019 World Cup, and the player who was in question proved it wrong straight away. Sanjay Manjrekar, who has been a known voice on Indian television whenever cricket is on, was not happy with Jadeja's overall performance as a white ball cricketer, and he decided to call him a bits and pieces cricketer during a World Cup game.
Wow.
While Jadeja expressed his unhappiness about Manjrekar's comment on social media, he performed wonderfully well with both the bat and the ball in the World Cup
Excalibur got
2019
busted out.
semi-finals against New Zealand. And Manjrekar had to take a lot of flack after that. Again, Sanjay Manjrekar, but this time with Harsha Bhogle.
The trifecta.
Cricketer turned commentator Sanjay Manjrekar has been criticized for his on-air comments against Harsha Bhogle after the pair's heated discussion about the visibility of the pink ball during the third day's play of the day and night test between India and Bangladesh. You can hear their conversation here.
There'll be at least 3 or 4 instances of batsmen getting hit on the helmet per innings.
When there's a post-mortem done of this game, and there should be a post-mortem of this game, visibility of that ball will be a big factor against the white side screen.
Don't think so. Because when you see the slip catches, the way they've taken catches, I don't think visibility is an issue at all. The texture of the ball is the issue.
About what? Definitely ask batsmen on both sides, not just
Do you think
Virat
Virat Kohli wasn't seeing the ball properly?
or Ajinkya Rahane or Cheteshwar Pujara, and ask all of them. And just ask them, what do you think? Because if pink ball cricket's going to be a regular feature, then you just want to be
You
sure
get an
everything's
indication
working.
watching from the outside whether the batsman is seeing the ball properly or not.
The spat became huge, and after these two incidents, IPL decided not to include Sanjay in the 2020 edition of the game as a commentator.
Interesting.
Navjot Singh
That was a
Sidhu.
heated conversation.
Sidhu's metaphors and colourful use of the English language have had their shares of praises and brickbats. But his words on air while commentating in 2003 were a bit too much for ESPN star to handle. When Alan Wilkins asked Sidhu to pronounce Worcestershire, Sidhu responded with the phrase, while still on air, "Don't effing provoke me, Wilco." Sources differ on the exact words, but they all agree on the inclusion of the F word. Sidhu's stint with ESPN star ended shortly afterwards, though it was denied by both parties that the incident mentioned above was the reason. What do you think about these incidents? Do
Interesting.
let us know in the comment section below.
So many
If you
thoughts.
enjoyed this video,
So the
don't
Harsha
forget to press
Bhogle and the
like button,
Sanjay
the
one,
share button, and of course, do
I don't know.
subscribe to
We've
Sport
had
Beat
much
'em Up for
heated
more
heated
amazing
conversations
videos
back
on
and
cricket
forth.
and other sports.
And we're not even arguing.
Dude.
I mean, they're just like, they seem very polite about it. They disagreed about some.
Right.
And that got heated to the point where the one guy, Sanjay, was asked not to come back for the 2020 IPL.
That's hilarious. I mean, I
He
remember.
wouldn't survive a day.
Was it Savannah? Somebody like had heard us in one of our many debates. I don't know if it was either comic books or
Name it.
something. And we're I'm an animated guy. I'm loud as it is. I'm Dominican. It is what it is. And Nick will hold his own with his arguments. It might have been in the school cafeteria. And people were like, "Are you guys okay?" You know what I mean? Like, is there our problem? No, that's just how we are. That's our relationship. That didn't seem animated. You're absolutely right. To Harsha Bogle's point, I think they're both right, honestly. Because A, the pink ball loses its integrity and quicker, and we saw that, right? In the, Australia versus India game, where the pink ball was spinning a lot, all right? So it's a lot different. But, actually, I think that, talking about the texture of the ball, that was Sanjay that talked about the texture of the ball. But the pink ball visibility is also an issue because we saw guys. So I think that they were both right. They were making different points, but you're right. To not invite him back, that to me didn't make any sense. That's silly. We even talked about it, and I think that the general consensus now is just get rid of the pink ball. After that Australian test, I think everybody, the general consensus now is just get rid of the pink ball.
If it's going to be a different product, then why?
Yeah, just get rid of the pink ball. That's what the general consensus is amongst most people in the cricketing world. With that being said, man, as I'm watching this video and I'm looking at some of the controversial, I think that, you know what's crazy? I only think that maybe 2 were out of bounds. I will say that there's nowhere, the whole donkey comment, I understand how he said it, but it still comes off as a almost a racial undertone to it. Not acceptable. Now, guess what? I call players heathens all the time. But guess what? You can be white, black, Hispanic, Indian, and still be a heathen. Right. We all have heathens among us. Or butterfingers, or whatever I might say. But it's something when I say something about a player's performance, I'm talking about, I usually say words that anyone, you know what I mean? It's not specific to one demographic or one kind of people.
It might be fair or it might not be fair, but that's just the world we live in. With the whole PC and all that kind of stuff, you've got to be careful, especially if you're on TV with what you say. Right. And to say a specific animal, like you said, that does have those, the history of racial undertones, it's just not smart.
Right.
He may not have thought about that at all, and he was just thinking, like, I mean, I don't think any animal plays cricket too well, so I'm not sure why I went with donkey.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying.
And, you know, like, not love, it just happens. I call people garbage all the time.
Right.
Oh, Johnny Bairstow. Okay?
You need to calm down.
Go back and watch Nick's Anatomy of a Cricket rant. That when I got set up with by Johnny Bairstow.
Anatomy of a Cricket rant?
Okay. But you put the video
Anatomy
together.
of your cricket rant?
You put the video together. But, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I understand that. And to me, calling out players for a lack of performance, I don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't understand. And I love Serge Jadeja. You know that. But if you were playing poorly till then, I'm going to call you out. You're not playing well. Yeah, and guess what? If you come back and show me I was wrong, like a Johnny Bairstow did, then I'm going to eat my words. But if you're not playing well at the moment, there's a lot of other people that can come in and fill in those seats. You know, fill in those shoes or whatever. I saw no problem with that. The one comment about, I forgot who made it, about
the terrorists.
The terrorists,
that was bad.
That is uncalled for.
That's ridiculous.
That is uncalled for. Was that Dean Jones? I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
That's uncalled for. You cannot say something like that. That's unacceptable. You know, you got to keep politics and sports separated. That's a beautiful thing about sports. And the Olympics, we kind of keep all that out of there. Where
it's just not a funny joke. If it was just a joke, it's not a funny joke.
Yeah, no, it wasn't okay. And then there was one more comment that I thought was so dumb. About India's first class cricket. And I'm like, India's B team beat Australia's A team at home in Australia. Are you serious right now? They got so many guys that don't ever get an opportunity to even come up because that team is so stacked. And you're talking about, their first class cricket must be, playing against whatever he said, against, average players. Or I'm like, that was just a dumb comment. Obviously, you don't know the level of cricketing in India where, think about it, if you've got 1 billion people, all right, you got 1 billion plus people, you're going to have a lot more competition than a smaller nation like, let's say, a New Zealand, where you have a lot less competition, a lot less people to go up against, you know what I mean, to make those teams, or to play on those teams. They got a limited amount of people to choose from. It's the same thing like I remember we go on these baseball tournaments, right? We travel all over, bro, all over. And by far, and I hate admitting it because I hate them, California is stacked. It's stacked. You go out there, bro, and every one of those teams can bang, and I'm talking in baseball. Same thing in Texas. Texas, they can bang. Man, we go to Arizona, we go to Utah, we go to Idaho.
Easy.
The parents are bored. By the third, fourth inning, we're like, is it time? Can we go to mercy rule these guys? Because all these teams only play in those smaller areas that don't necessarily, they don't produce as many big baseball products as these bigger places like a Texas, like a California. You know what I'm saying? Even Vegas has gotten a lot of respect, but when we go outside of our little general area, I remember we went to Florida. Woo! You know what I mean? We went to New York. Woo! You know what I'm saying, bro? There's ballers. There's ballers out there. So when you got that amount of competition to say, it's there. Who was it they were talking about? Was it
You're talking about Mayank Agarwal.
Mayank Agarwal, yeah, his centuries must have been scored against, nobodies. Like, that's just a stupid comment. That's just a stupid comment because here's the reality about it, that you have no idea what you're talking about. Because if India came out and couldn't perform against other teams and were getting smacked against everyone else, but I'm sorry, didn't India just make it to the WTC championship?
They didn't win it, though.
Bottom line, they made it. Didn't they beat Australia at home? Didn't they whitewash England at home? I mean, this team is legit.
They lost
so just
one match to England.
So just to say that is like, this team is legit. You know it is. So if Mayank Agarwal can't even crack into that lineup, and I think he might have only gotten one game, and you see how hard it is when you got your Shubman Gills, your Shaws that cannot crack that lineup. To say something like that is just absolutely stupid to me. But I thought, for the most part, commentators saying things, especially when you're criticizing, you should be allowed to criticize, man. As long as it's done in a non-derogatory racial way.
You got to be careful about it, though, because as we learned in this video, just a few examples, when you go after specific players, no good can come from that because they've had good days, they've had bad days. You're picking on a bad day, and how far you go at them by saying they're horrible or this or that, that's just not smart. And you might say, well, I don't care what people think. I got to do my job. I got to tell the truth. Yeah, but you got to keep your job too. And if you're ticking off everyone, they're going to get you out of there. So I don't think it's very smart to go after specific players like some of these guys did. At the same time, you've got to be able to say what you see on the field. My biggest issue is those off-camera comments where they think it's not recording. Because if you think no one's listening and that's how you are, it's about integrity,
that's how you
and
really
you're derogatory or this or that, then that's who you really are.
Thank you.
And it's going to be super hard for you to try to convince anyone, no, that's not who I... The camera was off for 5 seconds and you did something derogatory.
I forgot about that. You're right.
So, I mean, that to me is inexcusable. And yes, everyone has a bad day. Everyone says stupid things. But hopefully most of those stupid things they say is out of ignorance, not out of maliciousness.
Right. And I think, I'm glad you brought that one up. Because if we're commentating it together, we got a relationship. If you feel some way about me, let me know. Okay? And if it's a legit thing, I'll change it or I'll address it. And if it's not, then I'll stand my ground and be like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. That's your problem, not mine. But to go behind somebody's back and say something that you're working with, that just shows, that actually talks more about your character than the other person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're going to say something, be a man or a woman, and say it to their face, you know what I'm saying? Don't ever talk behind, I agree, I forgot about that one right there. But, the Pollard, and I'm a West Indian fan, okay? I'm from the West Indies. The Pollard one kind of bothered me because the actual reporter never said it.
I didn't hear
specifically
about brains or anything like that.
He didn't say anything. He said, get the comment right. I just think that Pollard, like many of these athletes, like Kevin Durant, like a lot of, you can't say anything about Tom Brady. You know what I mean? It's like they're so thin-skinned when it comes to criticizing their performance. And I get it. Listen, it is hard to be an athlete, and they are the greatest in the world. You're absolutely right. But you get paid a lot of money, and this is what you dedicate your life to. So you should be the best of the best when you step out there. And if we feel as fans you're not giving us the best of the best, or that you're not playing up to your ability, why shouldn't we have the... I pay your salary by watching the cricket matches, by buying the apparel, by buying tickets. As a fan, I pay your salary. So why shouldn't I be able to criticize you if you're not giving your the most? Trust me, Nick and I get criticism from parents as teachers when why is my child not, doing well in this subject? Or why did they get this grade, right? And I have to hear that back. So why should these people, I think that there has to be, as an athlete, you have an accountability to your fans. Because remember, without those fans, you would not be in the position you are. That's just the reality. We pay these people salary. And I think that, for me, that's one of the biggest things I have a problem with a lot of these athletes in this generation where, man, Kevin Durant, go on Twitter right now and say something silly about Kevin Durant. You will get a response. All right? He's nuts. Bro, he responds to everyone. You're Kevin Durant. What do you care? Yeah. What do you care?
You don't got time for that. And it's a distraction, and if someone can see they can get under a celebrity's skin by saying something they're just going to keep going to and keep going to. And at the end of the day, that person taking offense, and I've been guilty. I'm not a celebrity, but I've been guilty of that in the comment section. You're taking offense to some, and this person's already moved on. They're just chuckling about it, like, oh, look at this goofball who can't handle this or that.
Don't really care.
You got to, I mean, it's got to be impossible. And I like Virat Kohli's his approach to it. I don't know about his history. I'm not sure if he's gone after people on social media, but he says in the past he's read those comments, it's got him down in the future. He just doesn't read it, right? He just doesn't go in, because there's no point, because you're going to find negativity. Right. And you're right. It's crazy that these all-star, all-world athletes are paying attention to that kind of stuff. But, I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, it shows a sign of insecurity. And that's where, you know, as an athlete, you have a brand. A lot of these guys and women, they have their own apparel and stuff. Like, you've got to do everything for that brand and market yourself. But anyways, very controversial topic. Well, not topic, but a great video about controversial things that are being said. Let us know what your thoughts are. I mean, you can share the things that you've heard that weren't on here, but we want to keep it, you know, positive and nice in the comment section. So do all that kind of stuff for us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
That's 6 months.